Welcome to the E.A.T podcast. It's episode number 30. I'm your co-host, Jerry Russ. It's been a few weeks. We had a little COVID scare, a little COVID break. But now that you're back and in action here.
COVID scare? I think I would have preferred COVID.
You got the new look going on here. I love it. What's up?
COVID would have been the easy thing. I freaking family tested out our plumbing pretty well with a nice little stomach virus.
Oh, man.
One day it was coming out of the front end, and next day it was coming out of the back end.
Well, we got a whole new setup going on. If you haven't noticed, I got the New York City skyline behind me with the Vegas chip collection and the Atlantic City chip collection. Did this while I was on my vacation from the real job and set this up. Got a whole new computer set up for the podcast as well, so I'm ready to go here. But I gotta say, the biggest news, besides you wearing the glasses now, has got to be my personal Twitter page that I started. Jerry with the mic is now up and running on Twitter. For anybody who's interested, it'll I don't even know. It'll basically be the same thing as the E.A.T podcast Twitter page as well. But I figured create something different for my own personal thoughts, and then the podcast will just be the podcast stuff as we go forward. But this is episode 30. It's our season finale. We are going to come back in a couple of weeks after taking a few weeks off. And I got to tell you, Russ, having some discussions with some people today, season 2 is going to be just as good as season 1, if not better. And I'll get into some of that stuff later.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm excited too for season 2, but there's still some contract negotiations to go on. So,
all right. Well, just so you know, I'm in some big discussions with some big people about coming on the show, so you definitely got to be a part of it. We're a two-man team here. It's not just a solo act.
I appreciate it, but big acts. I hear you, but then again, I don't know if I want to be in a podcast just you, me, and your mom. So,
well, I would hope you bring a viewer or two as well. I mean. All right, so let's get into it. So while we were on our little COVID break, Jake Paul put Tyron Woodley to sleep. I don't know if you saw it, but
I fucking hate these people.
It led to Jake Paul insinuating that he wants to now get into the octagon because he's 5-0 in boxing matches. And
he wants to get into the octagon. He wants to fight. He just wants to fight more UFC fighters. He really doesn't want to get into the octagon.
Yeah, he wants to fight the Nate Diaz's and the Jorge Masvidals of the world.
Here's the issue with that one, though. Oh, goddamn. Here's the issue. Yeah, listen, folks. It's me. I'm a fucking slob. It is what it is, all right? Now I look like fucking Seth Rogen or whatever the fuck I got going here with glasses. I don't know. Now he's losing it, folks. There he goes.
No, I'm good. We're not going to have that kind of night. No.
Just take an edible and watch him go. The problem with those guys is honestly, Nate Diaz doesn't give a fuck, and so does Masvidal. They if there is these clauses in his contract in the Paul's contract that that you can't knock. Believe me, they're not going to. Those guys are not going to give a fuck. Tyron Woodley was a great fighter in his time, but in the end, probably said, listen, I'll take the payday. I'm not relevant anymore in the UFC, But then again, all the people saying he took a dive, listen, if I'm taking a dive, that's one thing, but he got embarrassed. He got knocked.
Russ. I mean, he got laid the fuck out.
Me personally, I'd rather come out of there being like, yes, I took a dive. But I think the funniest bit of the night was I don't know if anybody saw Nate Diaz do a little flinch move at like a spectator.
Yes.
The guy fucking throws his beer everywhere. That was great. But nice. I can't stand the polls. I get the act. Listen, it's a better version of LeVar Ball.
Oh, another guy I can't stand.
LeVar Ball made outrageous claims and made his kids, I guess you would say, Instagram famous. The Pauls are doing it and making just millions and millions. And not to say that they aren't real fighters. They definitely got some talent here. They actually look pretty like they could actually give an ass whooping to the average person. But
They're
But,
beating
no,
washed up guys, though, Russ, right? I mean, these guys aren't in their prime. I mean, you got Jake Paul, who's what, 23 or 25 years old, laying out somebody who's, beyond what they used to be.
But
Give
there is
me
a
Mike
point.
Tyson in his prime to lay this guy out, and that'll be the end-all, be-all of it when it's all said and done.
There is a point, though, that yes, I'd rather see them fight actual boxers than a UFC fighter. Although Nate Diaz, though, is a very good boxer.
Yeah.
So, but listen, I ain't paying for this shit.
Nope.
Let them fight. I'll find out who wins on Twitter. But I guess his big thing too now is going after Dana White, calling him a cokehead, and Dana White. I kind of like his response, saying you could test me for the next 10 years as long as I could test you for steroids for the next 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, like I said, is they found a niche. They're making millions of dollars, so I can't fault them on that. And I don't know. I really want to see somebody just listen. If you tell me right now that Nate Diaz is going to get in there and knock Jake Paul or Logan Paul's fucking head off, knock him the fuck out, you know what? Maybe I'll buy that shit. I think a lot of the world is waiting for it. There's going to come a time where they're going to have to let one of them just destroy them and end it and say, all right, I made my money.
Yeah, someone's going to have to kick their ass and let it be the end of it. It's going to come eventually. But did you see what White said about the whole thing? He said, under no scenario am I letting Diaz or Masvidal box Paul while under UFC contract. You notice the guy wants to fight everybody that's not in his weight class, guys that are older and all this bullshit. Go fight a boxer. Go hump somebody else's leg. You're a goofball. I gotta give it to him. That's a pretty good line there for going.
Listen, but he's getting the reaction, dude.
Of course, and that's what it all comes down to. He's getting the views, he's getting the likes, he's getting everything to go viral, and that's half the game.
So you can't, like I said, they're making millions of dollars, and here I am, getting up at 4 a.m, going to work every day.
Russ, have you seen the new Spider-Man movie?
I did.
What'd you think?
My daughter said it's amazing. Was very happy with it. Okay. In the scheme of Marvel, Spider-Man isn't one of my favorite characters. Okay. And like the first 2 movies I watched, cool. I enjoyed them, but this one I really enjoyed. It brought back some nostalgia of some previous Spider-Man stuff. It's fairly new, so I don't want to go too much into spoiler, but it'll all tie into the future. I love the Marvel universe, so it was really well done. I enjoyed it.
Well, the opening weekend it made $253 million, the third most ever in 3 days, and now after 12 days, it surpassed $1 billion.
Yeah, it's motoring.
It's motoring through. It's the movie of the pandemic era, is what they're saying.
Well, here's the thing too: is I think part of it is that everything's, I guess, fully open, and this is the first movie. I know Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings came out and Black Widow, but it didn't have the same. It doesn't have the same allure as Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a household name.
Yep.
And not that Black Widow isn't, but it's just a different type of movie. But I think with everything being open and this really being the first like monster blockbuster to come out in like 2 years, I think that plays into it.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. I mean, people being cooped up in their house and, not wanting to just stay home and watch it on Disney Plus or, whatever other streaming service there is.
Yeah, this was something
I
wanted
to
to
a
see.
Movie theater. That's part of the allure, the attraction.
Yeah, this was something I wanted to see in the theater. It was like Dune. It was a movie that it was a big movie that I wanted to see in the theater. So.
I love it.
And then, not for nothing, but Kim Kardashian, of all people, goes out and ruins the ending or dropped a big spoiler on her Instagram story. I don't follow the girl. I don't know if you do or don't. It doesn't really matter. But, I mean, you follow her for whatever.
Yeah, I don't follow
her for whatever. I mean, whoever follows her for whatever.
Is when she puts out a sex tape.
But, I mean, honestly, you're not following her for spoilers, and then wham, she's dropping the spoiler for Spider-Man, which a lot of people didn't expect and got pissed about.
Nobody follows her for spoilers, only her derriere.
Watch your language.
We know our buddy John's following her.
John's following everybody.
He is.
Shout out to John.
Everybody's hers. Bullshit.
Hey, I don't know if you've been keeping track about Elon Musk and his doings lately, but he exercised all his remaining Tesla options, which was 26.3 million shares. Get this, Russ, at a price of $6.24 a share. You see what Tesla's trading at lately?
No, I forgot.
Around 1,100. So he sells the majority of the shares to pay taxes on this new money he's making. The tax bill equals almost $12 billion. And my biggest takeaway from this was the richest guy in the world, or one of the richest, doesn't even have that money in the bank to pay the tax bill. I mean, all these guys that are rich, let's say the Bezos, the Gates, now you're adding Elon to this, they're the richest people in the world. Do they really have all that money, or is it just on paper? Because
some do, some don't.
right?
But
Like, I mean, look at this guy.
In the end, listen, the guy just paid more taxes than anyone in history, and people still aren't happy.
People still complaining he's not paying his fair share.
You know, and the people don't understand too is it's not you can't tax somebody on their wealth per se. You know, that's the one thing I get. The fuck you laughing at?
Do you see the chat?
No. Booty worms. Nice. I don't know. All I see is road booty worms.
No use for a name. Is that John? Is that Kingpin? Who is that?
I don't know. All I know is you eat ass. Anyway, what I'm saying is some people don't understand that too. It's it's like, all right, like if I make $100, I pay the government $25 in tax. The next year, I make another $100. I pay $25 in tax. But I saved the 75 and the 75. So now I have $150. It's not right to go back and say, well, you have $150 in wealth. I got to tax that too. That's what some people say. But in the end too, is these are all shares. He didn't produce income. So, and in the large part of the scheme is that, yes, I do believe that there are loopholes that companies should not get. Large companies, maybe smaller companies trying to make it, I'm fine with. Big companies that are worth billions, no, let them be taxed the shit out of them. Companies like Amazon and all that. But in the end, though, a person like Elon Musk, he brings up a good point that with his with his money, he probably would do more for the country and more for the environment than the government itself would.
Oh, absolutely.
Because in the end, they probably already spent his $12 billion in tax money that he paid.
His $12 billion in taxes was spent in 4 seconds, Russ.
But here's my thing: listen, you complained about him not paying taxes or paying his tax bill. He did. He paid it. Get over it.
And one of the big takeaways from this was though, he waited till the very end to exercise these options where when they were set up in place with Tesla 10 years ago, if he exercised them as they vested, his tax bill across the years as they vest would have only been $598 million instead of the almost $12 billion he spent. So I guess he made a boo-boo there financially, but when you're one of the richest people in the world, it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But waiting, he's kind of screwed himself.
It is what it is. Like I said, he paid his taxes. Get over it.
If you look back in the chat, look who's typing. We got the Mr. Suckerfish. All right, so Russ, sports betting is expected to be in place in New York within the next few weeks, just in time for the Super Bowl. Roughly the 3rd or 2nd week of January is when we expect to have liftoff. Now, even though you and I are watching Ranger and Knick games, and I got to tell you, I'm done with the JB Smooth Caesars commercials. I'm done.
All right. So I actually like JB Smooth.
I'm done with this guy. I don't find him funny. I don't see the attraction. Please tell me what you were thinking.
No. I do like him per se, but yes, these commercials have gotten so fucking annoying. I do like the whole Caesars thing. It makes me laugh. But
really?
Dude, even that. You got Wayne Gretzky for the other one. You got Aaron, whatever from the
guy from Breaking Bad, Aaron Paul, right?
Bad, another. It's getting ridiculous. You got Matt Damon on one now. You got Ben Affleck on another. Yep. It's getting ridiculous. They said it's every 2 seconds, and I'm like, oh my god, these people—they're just gonna steal so many people's money.
It's insanity. But I mean, every 5 seconds, even live cut-ins from the game is, hey, the live betting line for this period or quarter is this. Go bet it now.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy.
It's getting ridiculous, and people don't understand the. Hey,
I want to know who picked JD Smooth to be the Caesar sponsor. Really,
I still kind of like it.
Whose idea was that? I think the idea was horrible.
Cooper, you're my favorite Manning.
Look, I think the idea was horrible. But anyway, back to my original thought. So New York now has sports betting roughly in place in the next 3 weeks. 9 sports books are going to be online: FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, Ballybet, Caesars, PointsBet, WinBet, Rush Street, which is Bet Rivers and Sugar House, and Empire Resorts. Missing from that list, Russ, is one big name. Can you think of it? Do you know it?
Yeah, it's Penn National with Dave Portnoy.
Yeah, Barstool's not involved in it.
It'll come eventually, but what do you call it? It's gonna hit like a ton of bricks, and you're gonna have all these people thinking they can win all this money, and it doesn't. Don't fucking happen like that. You know, as a sports bettor, I'm actually taking it easy right now. It's Christmas, and you know things are slow, so I can't go crazy these days. But people don't understand the risks involved with it. You don't just. People see these fucking parlays on like FanDuel, like, oh, I dropped $5 and won 13,000 on the most insane,
Russ,
parlays you've ever seen.
Did you see the guy that bet the 25 games for like $5 last week and hit for like 200 and something thousand? That's what everybody. Listen, that's what everybody thinks is a guarantee and is going to happen to them. That's the problem with this.
That's fun and all, and like $5, okay, cool, but. Dude, that's like a once in a lifetime fucking hit. And
you're not hitting that once a week. I mean, that's paying off a mortgage.
They don't realize the damage this is going to cause.
No,
and I just don't like how it's advertised like crazy everywhere because it's just sucking you in.
It's nuts.
And
it really is.
What do you call it? But speaking of Portnoy, everybody sees. I don't know if everybody watched. I got it down. I've been too busy. I haven't really been that busy. I just more lazy or anything.
It's the holidays. It's all right.
If anybody saw a mysterious man in the Orlando Magic game the other night take a really big half-court shot, and I guess they tried to fake deny it. It wasn't Dave. It was pretty bad.
Did you see that press release they put out?
Yeah. But it's weird to see him traveling Spirit Airlines. I don't know. Listen, Spirit's the worst fucking airline on the face of the earth.
Seriously.
I had to drive like 13 hours to South Carolina because of those scumbags.
They are horrible. I mean, I'm a JetBlue guy, but
the reason that they're so cheap is
they pay better.
Yeah.
But I mean,
the reason they're so cheap is you pay their airline fees that they pay. So you always get freaking stuck in the air waiting to land. Or flights canceled, but I think there's some sort of partnership there because I don't see why in hell he's fucking flying.
Spirit. Yeah, I mean, Penn National stock is down. Fine, okay, great, but is it down that much that you're flying commercial and you're not flying private? I mean, that makes no sense.
Listen. He has plenty of fucking money,
right?
To fly a private fucking jet.
There's got to be some kind of connection or something.
Especially with his smoking hot girlfriend, was it Sylvain Mojica, whatever it is. Listen, he has a partnership with Spirit. There's no way he's advertising that he's flying commercial. There's something going on there.
There's got to be.
And the vacationing in Disney thing.
Yeah, did you see that too? He's doing pizza tests and hanging out in Hollywood studios.
Yeah, he what do you call it? I know he poked on there, so I threw a thing on Twitter that it's all about. To me, Disney was all about what you make. And I have friends that went and like, oh, I hated it. It was horrible. Listen, you're gonna wait in line. It's hot. But they have beer everywhere now. Yes, listen, you just understand it. The kids are going to go buck wild and, it's just fucking Disney. Have fun.
I mean, honestly, though, think about it. It's Christmas week between Christmas and New Year's. Everybody and their mother is off.
Yes, this is like, I'm going to take my kids to Disney for Christmas, vacation. So this is not the week you go.
He picked the worst time to possibly go down there with the crowds and everything else.
You go like the week before Thanksgiving. So that nobody's traveling, the kids are still in school.
Yep.
You say, fuck it, I'm taking
the
my
week
kids
before Easter, the week before President's Week. A random week in the middle of nowhere where there's no holiday that backs up to a weekend or right after a weekend where you're not going to get people going down there. He picked the worst week to go. I mean, and as a guy who's there, yearly.
Yeah, he said he waited an hour and a half for I think a hot dog or something.
Yeah.
Although I want to say, if you're gonna go to Disney, Casey's hot dogs.
Yes.
Right. I didn't care for Magic Kingdom, but
it's in Magic Kingdom. Yep.
Casey's hot dogs. I had this. First off, whatever dogs they use, they get the giant foot-long dogs that can probably
legit footlongs, right? Legit.
What's that?
They're legit footlongs. They're not like that. Then it's not a 6 inch. It's
they're
legit.
pretty
It's
thick.
massive.
I'm sure some porn stars have used them before. But they're actually one of the best tasting dogs I've had. It's a good dog, but I had one of their specials, and it was like a loaded baked potato on a goddamn hot dog. It was like a hot dog with like red skin mashed potato, bacon, cheddar cheese, and it had like a sour cream drizzle, and it made my heart sizzle.
Really?
It was really good. But other than that, Magic Kingdom was like I don't know, it was kind of poop to me. I enjoyed Epcot, Disney Springs. If anybody doesn't have kids, they want to experience Disney Springs was really, really, really cool. Just think of just the small little island and nothing but just shopping, restaurants, and bars. The only thing that sucks is you have to pre-plan your restaurants and bars, well, at least restaurants, like 8 months in advance. My wife was like, "What do you want on Wednesday? You want Italian?" I'm like, "I love food, but you're asking me what I want to eat 6 months in advance." Like, yes, I think on Wednesday I will want Italian.
Yep.
So
Russ, I just looked up. By the way, in the chat, May is the best time. Yes. And I just looked up the hot dog that you're talking about. It's the loaded mashed potato hot dog from Casey's. Diggity dog. It looks amazing. It's loaded mashed potato hot dog, which is their hot dog of the month, once a month, throughout the year. I guess they do a special or whatever. But a foot long is $13.49. It comes with a hot dog with mashed potatoes, caramelized and green onions, cheddar, bacon, and sour cream. Jesus.
It was delicious. What do you call it? My wife appreciated it coming out at the back end. We went to Epcot and I got hammed, and then we went to Germany for dinner.
Was this a trip we were with you guys, or you guys were on your own on this one?
No, when the fuck did we go to Disney together?
What trip was this? When did you go?
I'm talking about when I went to Disney.
When I was Brian?
Yeah, we went to Germany for dinner, which was really cool. It's a crazy auditorium thing that looks like you're outside. But either way, let's just say might have been fucking putting out some poison out the rear afterwards. And all I remember is walking with my wife and my kids, and something may have squeaked out. And I'll never forget it. This fucking Australian guy behind me goes, "Aye, it's fucking farted." We lost it. I had to walk away. I was crying. I'll never forget. "Aye, this fucker farted." I was in tears. My wife's in tears over here.
Oh man,
it doesn't take much. But all right, enough about Disney. All right, enough about my flatulence.
All right, so moving along.
Very, very sad news. And okay, I'm just going to say this now. I love John Madden. I love John Madden.
Yeah,
and nobody will replace him and Pat Summerall doing broadcasting.
Oh,
they blow the doors off of Joe Buck.
They're Hall of Famers. I mean, they're best of all time.
But I hate to admit this. He's been so out of the picture for years.
Who, John?
Yeah. I thought he fucking died. I thought he died a couple years ago.
No, Pat Summerall died a few years ago.
I know, but still, she's like, John Madden died. And I'm like, he's still alive? Or he's dead? Well, I thought he died a couple years ago.
No, he's been around, but I don't know if you watch the All Madden show that debuted on Fox. I mean, now they're running replays on Fox Sports 1. I haven't caught the whole thing yet. I just started it a few years ago, and I got caught up doing some other stuff. But in the beginning of the All Madden show, John Madden starts speaking, and I don't know if he sounds old, if he sounds out of it. I'm not sure what it is, but you can tell he's not the same guy that we grew up listening to, where you saw him, eating the turkey leg and being John Madden that we know, because he wasn't the same guy at the end. He wasn't.
Yeah, it sucks.
Hey, Russ, let me ask you. So, between his coaching and broadcasting and the Madden video game, what do you think made him more famous?
His broadcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, his coaching and his broadcasting made him the most famous. His video game just made him famous to the people that didn't really truly follow football. But in the end, too, there is a huge, even to this day, there is a huge following for competitive Madden gaming as well.
Oh yeah, huge.
So I was pretty decent back in my day, and now probably fucking.
I used to get smoked.
Doors blocked.
I'll admit it. I was never good at the game. I used to get smoked on like a flea flicker that would just happen over and over and over again.
I was good. I used to blow the doors off my friends. Then I started playing online. I think the end of my my reign came with like a 15-year-old girl from Chicago blew the doors off me. I'm not fucking kidding. Like I had the full headset, and this bitch she was cool, but she was talking trash. And Jesus, I have
to ask, how old were you?
No, she really was like 15.
No, how old were you?
Oh, me, I was like fucking 24.
All right, at least you didn't say you were like 35.
No, I learned my lesson. I haven't played Madden in God knows. I gotta say, the last Madden game I probably played.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I don't even know. You're probably talking
10 years.
Madden 2012.
Oh, we got somebody in the chat who plays competitively online.
You know what? I'll still kick that guy's ass. All right. In other news, Big Ben Roethlisberger looks like he's calling his career with the Steelers.
Yep.
Big old goofy bastard, fucking rapist motherfucker. What? I didn't say that.
Yeah, he's got some negative stuff, that's been looming.
Quarterback wise, he's a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
Personality wise, I still think he's a piece of shit.
He says that Monday night's game against Cleveland is likely to be his last regular season home game at Heinz Field. Russ, the guy's old. I mean, he's 39 years old. He's been in the league 18 years. He won 260,000 yards, 416 touchdowns. The guy made 6 Pro Bowls. I mean, he's a guaranteed Hall of Famer when the Hall calls.
Yeah, he's absolutely a Hall of Famer. So,
but I mean, he's the last one, right? That draft class was what? Eli Manning, him, and Phillip Rivers. Those are the big 3 that were drafted that year.
It's good memory you got there.
No use for name in the chat says to bring it, Russ.
Oh, I will. Tell you what, you buy me Madden and give me a week to practice, and we'll go at it. In other news, the Colts came down with a bunch of players on COVID.
Oh man,
they will get a bunch back, including Quentin Nelson and Darius Leonard, but they are losing. I still hear mixed reports. They are losing Carson Wentz.
Yes.
But now there are I laugh because some people are quoted on Twitter as saying that the CDC and the NFL adjusted the rules to help the Colts. Yes, the CDC adjusted the rules so a small market team can make the fucking playoffs. Yes, that's exactly. That's what happened. Don't forget to say the Dolphins will be the first team to make playoffs. Fuck the Dolphins. They're gonna lose.
No, we're gonna get into the playoff picture in a minute. The Dolphins are not making the playoffs. That's not happening. Guaranteed not happening.
Listen,
screw the Dolphins.
Dolphins are way overrated. But either way, so let's see what happens with them. Me personally, they really just need one win out of the 2. They got to play the Raiders and the Jaguars, and I swear to God, they lose both those games.
Who are they starting? Who are they starting at QB this week?
Sam Ellinger. We drafted him 2 years ago. He hasn't had any playing time really. He's got some time in preseason. Couple shifts, couple fill-ins here and there. I want to say he filled in a couple weeks ago, and I think he threw an interception. Yeah, I don't know. I still think there's possible. I mean, listen, in the end, we beat the goddamn Patriots with Carson Wentz throwing for 57 yards and only completing 5 passes. So with Jonathan Taylor at running back, as long as we don't lose Jonathan Taylor, we're good. We just beat a Cardinal team too with missing practically all 5 starting linemen. I'm with getting a bunch of people back, including Ryan Kelly, who most have heard was out 2 weeks. Who's a Pro Bowl center with the death of their daughter. So, but I'm getting some people back, and I just feel like I'm rambling right now.
No, you're not. You're not at all. You're just going on a Colts tangent, which is, it's your team.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope they win. I actually met a Raiders guy today. He was a security guard in the building that I was working in, and told him have a happy New Year, but go fuck yourself on Sunday. So, but anyway, NFL season has 2 weeks left, and pretty much most of the playoff teams are getting in there. As far as the divisions, though, we still got some jostling around.
Yep.
The West is pretty much locked up with the Chiefs up there. Technically, the Titans could lose both games. The Colts win. I still don't even think we'd beat them on the tiebreaker, but I'm not sure what's up with there. You got the Bills and Patriots jostling.
Yep.
There's another division in there, the North.
Yeah, you got the Bengals and the Ravens. They're a game apart.
The Bengals and the Ravens going at it here. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, Colts are the first wild card at the moment. You got the Dolphins fighting in there. But to who said the Dolphins 1-7, and they obviously won 7 straight or 8-7. It is very good, but look at who they played to win those 7. It was like the Jets twice, the Jags. It was wasn't exactly like they were beating quality teams there.
Hold on a second. The Dolphins play Tennessee this week in Tennessee. All right, that's this week's matchup that they have. I don't think that's going to be a good matchup for them. All right, I think that's a Tennessee win right there. And then next week, after that matchup, they play New England. If you're telling me that they're beating those 2 teams and making it to the playoffs, they deserve to make the playoffs. But that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There's no way you're beating Tennessee and New England to get in. No way.
But
I don't think it's happening.
Let's take a look at these wins real quick. They beat the Saints with Ian Book at quarterback.
Who?
Yeah, they beat the Jets. They beat the Giants.
Yeah. 2 New York teams that suck.
They beat the Jets again. They beat the Ravens. Okay, they beat the Ravens.
All right. Was that with Lamar Jackson and a full healthy team, or was that with Huntley or whoever else is the QB?
I don't remember. Huntley played very well though, but that's their win streak. That's their 7. They first off
the Jets and the Giants.
First off, they lost to the Jags, and that was the London game. If I remember correctly. So if you lose to the Jaguars, you should automatically be eliminated from the playoffs. But this is their 7-game win streak. The Texans, the Ravens, the Jets, the Panthers, the Giants, the Jets, the Saints. All right, listen.
You beat the Ravens. That's all that you did. The rest of it is a mop-up duty in the NFL. There's nobody there that's good.
I don't mean to beat on the Fins because I have actually quite a few friends that are Fins fans. It's just that,
I don't mean to make this episode about the attack of the Dolphins either, but I mean,
this person in our group chat here throwing it out there. So
Fins by 3 is what he says for this week.
Yeah.
Anyway, the NFC is a completely different story. You got 5 teams that already clinched playoff spots, Russ, and you got 2 spots left open. That's going to be a dogfight between the several teams that are fighting there. If you want me to get into it real quick, the NFC, San Francisco and somebody else are in the final 2 spots right now. And I forgot who they're playing. I'm looking at it right now. One sec.
Oh, on a side note, did you see that? Was it GM John Lynch he kind of had to not apologize, but his Twitter, he accidentally liked a meme of somebody showing a plane leaving, saying they're leaving Jimmy G.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
wherever they played, yeah.
Listen, I got to tell you, Aaron Rodgers, as good as the year he's having, might be the NFL MVP this year, if not for Jonathan Taylor. They're saying that if he plays next year and it's not in Green Bay, it might be in San Francisco, replacing Jimmy G.
He wanted to go to San Francisco, and I don't know. I told you, I said it before here. I used to love Rodgers. Now he just seems like a prima donna.
Now Brady's your guy.
What's that?
I said now Brady is your guy.
Fucking love him. I can't believe I fucking love him. Yeah, but it's crazy. The motherfucker looks like he's 30, and Rodgers looks like he's a 52-year-old.
God, he looks like he's part of the Walking Dead, cast. He's walking around on the set of that show.
So
anyway, back to it. San Francisco and the Eagles are both 8-7. They both are in the 6 and 7 spots in the NFC right now, and right behind them is the Vikings, Falcons, and Saints at 7 and 8. So between those 5 teams, 2 spots are up for grabs. Sorry, I'm just getting into my mule again.
I was looking at the matchups.
Yeah, we're gonna get into our gambling segment in a few minutes, so we'll get into this week's matchups in a few. But just moving along to the NHL real quick, the World Junior Tournament was canceled abruptly due to a COVID outbreak. A few players came down with some positive tests, led to some forfeits, and the eventual cancellation of the whole tournament. I mean, Russ, the NHL is playing. It's back up and running. I mean, our Rangers blew a third-period lead last night. Don't even get me started on that. But, I mean, the NHL is up and running. These guys in the World Juniors just abruptly canceled everything for a few positive COVID tests. And now you got all this controversy, how one tournament gets shut down and one league is running. It's unreal.
All right.
And I don't want to get on a COVID tangent either, but I know that's where we're going.
Yeah, COVID can eat a dick. All right. I'm going to go on I am going to go on a tiny COVID thing because, listen, I don't care what I'm not here to. But with Carson Wentz, by the way, it's his birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Carson Wentz.
Yes. So I laugh because there's a lot of negative messages on social media because he's not vaccinated. And I don't care if you do or you don't. But I kind of had a thought where this is his second time getting COVID. So people are like, just go get the vaccination. Not for nothing, but if you got COVID twice and you survive, why the fuck what do you want a vaccination for? You proved it doesn't have an effect on you. That's beside.
And at this point, don't you have antibodies at this point?
Yeah, exactly. So, but if you got it twice and you survived twice, I mean, shit, why put another, why put a vaccine in you? But that's regardless. I'm not saying, no, believe me, I'm vaccinated, shit, it's not saying it. I just find that weird. Like, all right, if you got it twice and survived it, I don't see a reason why you would say, shit, I got to go out and get vaccinated. But back to this tournament. So with the COVID thing, I believe it was the Slovakian goaltender put out a thing, and he had a very good point today.
Okay.
You have all these players, all these coaches, everybody that took time away in Canada, especially around the world for hockey. The World Junior Tournament is a huge deal. So you took all these people and basically took them away from their family. I can't say took them away. They basically left their families to go play in this tournament. And you did all this just to shut it down after a couple positive tests.
Yep.
It was almost like they didn't even plan for this thing to go through. And then he also said, he made up a good point. Last year, they did the tournament. You had us in a bubble. And, it was a pain in the ass, but it was fun because we loved hockey. He said this year, they had to quarantine. They're here over Christmas, so they're away from their families. But then you'd go out to dinner in the restaurant, the hotel, and there would be regular people not associated with the tournament at the restaurant. And his point was, listen, I'm fine with that, but if you're going to allow that, then what was the point of allowing not putting us in a bowl again, or at least having us go to restaurants with regular people who are not quarantined or part of the tournament, and then just to shut it down over, after a couple days. You wasted a lot of people's time and a lot of people's money, and for a lot of kids too, this is their audition to try to get into the NHL.
Oh, absolutely, it's their audition. You have a great World Junior.
It's almost like they planned. Like, listen, we got a couple tests. That's it. We got to shut it down. I get it. If the majority of the players all of a sudden, came down with it or ravaged, but as far as I know, they said a bunch of them were asymptomatic. And it's like I said, is you spend all this time and money that you should just put them in a bubble. If that was your point, but whatever.
I don't want this to get political, and I avoid politics and all that with the show. I that's not what we're about. But I mean, honestly, I'm going to make a statement here. I might offend a few people, but it's the damn flu. Runny nose, headache, sneezing. It's the damn flu. When you got the flu 4 years ago, you set yourself up in your bedroom with some, Tylenol day or Tylenol night or whatever it was, and you quarantined basically by yourself to not, infect anybody else. Everyone now is vaccinated, and it's still getting spread.
This round
great.
Is, yeah. That's the thing is ridiculous. This round is more like a cold. I understand the original COVID, the original variant.
Yeah. Yep.
But this round, even the CDC said cold. Well, listen, if the symptoms are a lot less severe, then maybe it's time to just let people just get it over with.
That's it. If everyone's vaccinated,
right, no
and that's COVID. If everyone's vaccinated, you shouldn't be shutting down the junior tournament, for these kids. You shouldn't be. It's ridiculous. All right, off the COVID tangent, but here we go back to COVID again anyway. The NHL's back in action after an extended COVID break from Christmas. Hey, you there?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Your video feed cut out real quick.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I got you. You hear me?
Yeah, so see what happens. Start talking about COVID, all of a sudden, restreaming Twitter shut us down.
Yeah, shuts us down.
But no, I'm not, and don't take me wrong. I'm not saying anything like, "Oh, don't listen." I'm vaccinated myself. I did a, whatever. Just some things are fucked up right now, and I feel like this is never going to end. And I think at some point you have to just let it end.
You have to. I mean, at this point, enough is enough already. I want to get back to being normal.
All right.
All right, back to the NHL. So last night,
you go back to the NHL. I'm going to go away for a minute.
All right, last night the NHL got back in action with our team, the Rangers. They blew a third period lead to the Panthers, which wasn't good. I mean, if Ryan Strome could just finish on a damn breakaway or two, or these guys aren't hitting damn posts, it's a whole different story. This Ranger team was a team that beat an undefeated Florida Panther team not too long ago, and showed everybody in the NHL that they were the Rangers were a good team and they were on the right track. And last night they come into this game after a holiday break that was extended with COVID, and they got a 2-1 lead going into the third, and they basically poo-pooed it by letting Florida back in this game and then win it. Florida wins with a 4-3 final.
Hey. Okay.
The league also is not going to partake in the Olympics this winter. The NHL is going to use that time to make up the 60-plus or so games that have been postponed due to COVID.
Hello?
So we won't be seeing the NHL players. And Brad Marchand from the Boston Bruins came out vocally and is not a fan of the Winter Olympic cancellation that is in place. Russ, have you seen that? The words he put out there? He basically went after the owners, said it should be up to the players to go after the Olympic dream if they want it. And he was very outspoken on Twitter about it a few days ago after the word came out that the players were not going to partake in the Olympics. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think the players should have their own option to go? And if they want to go play, you bring up some taxi squad or AHL guys? I mean, you are screwing your team in a way, but you're playing for your country on the other side of that. So what do you think?
Okay, there's two sides to it. Do I enjoy the Olympics? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Curling
is my favorite event in the Winter Olympics.
Do I watch it? Do I watch? Do I enjoy it with NHL players? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But personally, I saw an idea brought up that, listen, just bring back the World Cup of hockey. Let the NHLers play in a tournament. Let's say, July or something,
Yep.
August, and you're not back into hockey and the players are off.
Yep.
And let the college kids play the Olympics. Keep it the way it was,
Yep.
let the college kids play the Olympics. I'm still going to watch,
Yep.
and so listen, you could avoid that, but as far as, I don't know, I'm all over the place. I think it's the glasses. It's like fucking me up. Although I will say the best thing about glasses is when I go to the bathroom, everything looks bigger now. Unfortunately, that includes my stomach. So, but no, listen, I enjoy it. It's fun to watch. Believe me, it was fun back in the day watching, the Richters play for Team USA and the Lundqvists and the Swedish teams. But listen, let the kids play. Let our NHL players stay with the NHL teams. Like I said, is bring back the World Cup of hockey.
Yeah.
And let them flip flop it so that you have it every 2 years opposite the Olympics. And I think that's about it.
The problem is this. Let's say that the NHL players went to the Olympics, Russ, and they came down with COVID, overseas. Do you know how much of a headache that's going to be to then get them back in the country and under quarantine and everything else? I mean, they could be gone like a month.
I think that's part of the problem because they said, I think people don't realize, like, I want them to go, but they already stipulated in China that if you test positive, you could be quarantined in basically a Chinese wherever you're staying. I don't think you're going to be in the fucking 5 seasons,
you're not,
whatever it is, for 3 to 5 weeks. Could you imagine being put up in some, crazy fucking hotel for 5 weeks?
Are you in a hostel? I mean, that's not fun.
I don't know. Especially, I'd want to know, like, what the accommodations are. Am I getting thrown in like a fucking pseudo jail cell? But I can understand the plight of saying, hey, God forbid we test positive. I don't want to be stuck for 3 to 5 weeks, possibly in some hotel room and not be around anybody and be in a foreign country. So I can understand. Is Marchand a little bit right about it should be up to the players too? Yes. But you also have a responsibility to your team that pays you millions of dollars, and I guess there is a little responsibility to the fans. So, like I said, in the end, let the college kids make their dream and play the Olympics. And like I said, bring back the World Cup of hockey in the summer months, so we can have a little nice little hockey tournament in the middle, when we're jonesing, and it doesn't affect the season.
Seriously, I agree 100% with that. They had the Canada Cup and the World Cup and all these other events when we were younger. Bring them all back and let the Olympics be for the kids. I agree 100%. Hey, did you see that Forbes released the NHL team values? And at the top of that list is our New York Rangers, worth $2 billion. The average NHL team is now worth $865 million. Locally, the Islanders, who just opened up their new arena that they can't win at, had their value shoot up, Russ. Get this, 83% to value them at $950 million, all because of the new TV deal and their new arena.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn impressive. I mean, they bought that team for what, $600 million? I mean, shit. Unbelievable. A couple of years ago. I got to tell you, Edmonton's value shot up 100%, valuing them at $1.1 billion. And there are 8 teams in the NHL valued at $1 billion or more. The Kings, Oilers, Flyers, Bruins, Blackhawks, Canadians, Maple Leafs, and Rangers are the top 8 in value.
A lot of money.
Yeah, if you go hit that new Powerball jackpot, which is about 400 and something million, you could definitely buy into a team now. The Arizona Coyotes wiping up the rear, worth a measly $400 million, as the least valuable team in the NHL right now.
You'll buy the Coyotes.
Hey, the college football playoff, the main game, we'll call it, is the main games is tomorrow. You got Alabama and Cincinnati and Michigan and Georgia. Russ, is it a foregone conclusion? Alabama's beating Cincinnati, right?
All right. I don't care what happens between Michigan and Georgia. tomorrow, 99% of the country is a fucking Cincinnati Bearcat fan, all right? 99% of the country is a Cincinnati Bearcat fan tomorrow. Games are tomorrow?
Yeah,
We sure?
games are tomorrow.
They're not New Year's Day?
No. Tomorrow. Hang on one sec.
Tomorrow. Sunday. Raceway Park. Wasn't that what it was?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, back in the day, that's what it was.
All right. Well, listen, like I said, I don't care. I fuck Alabama at all costs.
What do we got
And the
here?
winners of that will meet on what do you call it? January 10th for the it's still like the Dr. Pepper Championship where some Joe Schmo that's never thrown
whatever the hell it's gonna be,
throw it
yeah.
in a hole to win you win $10,000 per throw for college. Or kick a field goal and you win a scholarship. Oh no, he missed. Too bad.
So tomorrow at 3:30, you got Cincinnati and Alabama. And then at 7:30, you have Michigan and Georgia. Both games will be on ESPN. And then, like you said, after that, the final will be January 10th. Russ, I got to say, the Georgia-Michigan game is going to be a good matchup. I mean, it's a toss-up who honestly is going to win that game.
I'm surprised. Question, where's it being held?
Probably like Jerry World or somewhere. Hold on.
Jerry World? What the fuck is Jerry World?
Yeah, in Dallas, the Cowboy Stadium.
Oh, I thought you made making like a reference to you. I'm like,
no. All right, Michigan, Georgia is at Hard Rock Stadium in Florida. That's where the Dolphins play.
That explains then why Portnoy is vacationing in Florida.
Probably right. Probably right. Oh, and Alabama, Cincinnati is at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. There we go, Jerry World. Like I said.
All right, that explains why. But yeah, fuck Alabama. And I noticed since our chat room here on the side here said Fins by 3 and we bashed the Fins, there's been no more talking. Awfully fucking quiet there, buddy. After we proved his wins were fruitless. All right, so moving over to the back to Major League Baseball. As a Met fan, it's Murray Buckmas.
Absolutely.
Finally got a coach in Buck Showalter. Still, who hasn't won the big one, so sure, it won't happen with the Mets either. But
Russ, you got to be happy though, right?
No,
you're not happy with Buck as the manager.
I ain't never fucking happy until they actually prove they can win. Sign whoever you want. You can sign Jesus. If Jesus can't hit a fucking curveball and we don't win, I ain't happy.
I listen, as an outsider looking in, that's the guy I would have wanted as a Met fan. He's proven. He's handled New York before.
I'm happy with it. I got no problem with it. But like I said, it's put up or shut up. I have no faith in any signing for the fucking Mets. Listen, I love the Scherzer signing. They finally went out and said, "Fuck it, we're getting one of the best pitchers available." And this is when he'll be like, "All right, you know what? I'm 30, whatever the fuck he is, 39. It's time to fucking shut it down."
Yep.
Now I'm on the Mets. This is time to suck some ass for $80 million a year.
Hey, I gotta tell you. The Yankees, I get it. The next point we're going to make is that the lockout's still going on, and why are we even talking about this? I get it. But the Yankees have done nothing. Up until the lockout, what did the Yankees do?
I did enjoy the quip by, was it Hal Steinbrenner? Saying that, the Mets, all these signings, they should put some sort of limit on how much you could spend. Yeah. As the fucking king of spending fucking money who started all this shit and brought every player into the fucking sun.
The lockout's still going strong, and you got all these outlets, ESPN and The Score and everyone else, talking hot stove like it's business as usual, which is unbelievable. You got, where is Bryant going? Where is Correa going? Carlos Correa's cousin had on an Angels jersey over Christmas break, and there was a photo that came out. Right away, everyone's like, "Oh, Carlos Correa is going to the Angels when baseball gets back up and running." I mean, it's ridiculous. Why even cover it? Why even talk about it? There's a damn lockout. They haven't negotiated. They're not at any tables. They're not having talks. There's nothing going on. Baseball is dead and mute at this point right now until they get back to the table, and they're not even doing that. So stupid.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Now into our NBA news.
Oh, the Lakers suck, Russ.
Surprise of the year, the Lakers are sucking. And I think this might be the end of Russell Westbrook. He looks terrible.
Yeah, he looks horrendous.
They brought in Isaiah Thomas, and he now all of a sudden I think he's signing with somebody else. I guess they're trying everything, and you got they were supposed to dominate.
Yeah, LeBron gets Westbrook to come. He's got his mega team that he's building again, and you know what? I'm happy they're under 500. I'm not even a Laker fan. I'm just happy that LeBron sucks right now. I don't want to hear he's better than Jordan. I don't want to hear he's as good as Jordan. No,
I'm not happy LeBron. No. I'm not happy LeBron sucks. I just the Lakers. I just don't like the whole.
Well, LeBron being a part of it is a thing for me. I hate LeBron.
I used to. Now I just, the guy really is.
Do not tell me that you are going to flip the script like you did with Brady and Rodgers with LeBron.
No, not at all. But the guy is one of the NBA's all-time greats. He really he absolutely is. So, but yeah, I just don't like the whole aura he's got going there in LA. We're just bringing everybody in. Maybe Westbrook's fucking cancer. Maybe he's been on like every stacked team. He's had all these teams, dude. They had a team of. They had him, Harden, and Durant for years and couldn't win shit.
Yep, you're right.
And
they went anything in Oklahoma.
But
and those two guys are now on the Nets without him. Maybe he is the problem, Russ. Maybe you hit it right on the head.
But
you got a third of the NBA referees out on the COVID protocol, prompting the league to go to 2 refs instead of 3 on certain nights. And you got call-ups from the G League.
Man, you're being called up to the bigs. You're going to ref an NBA game. All the other refs are like congratulating him, patting him on the back. You're going on.
It's crazy. All right, I want to get into some gambling stuff. Russ, your football picks still going strong. 30-18 against the spread right now, going into the final 2 weeks.
With the spread. It's a little shaky lately, but yes, still.
Hey, listen, I'll take 30-18. I'll sign up for that. I mean, come on, you got to be happy with that. You're going into the final 2 weeks. I mean, if we said before this all started that you were going to be 30-18, you would have signed for it every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, me on the other hand, 23-25. My goal right now, Russ, is to be just over 500 for the season.
I hear you.
This week's spreads aren't that great. I mean, all the games are on Sunday though, so I'll give it that we all have we don't got to spread out.
I never understood that shit. Let's put every game. Let's put the last the fourth and third week from the end. Let's put them on Saturday and Sunday. Then the last 2 weeks, let's put them both on Sunday. Just keep the last couple of weeks on Saturday and Sunday. I like that.
I'm wondering.
Little dabble of each.
I'm wondering, did the NFL not do New Year's Day because of the Winter Classic and because of Saturday bowl games for New Year's? That's why.
They don't give a fuck about the Winter Classic.
No, but the college has bowl games on New Year's.
Half the bowl games are freaking canceled. They're finding new opponents. What do you got? The fuck is this?
Yeah, that's true.
What the hell? It's a nose, but it's a sharp pencil sharpener. You stick it up there and you sharpen a pencil.
Hey, we discussed sports betting in New York State earlier, and I want to get into it real quick with you for a second.
You got a toy, okay? You get cut in there, okay?
The mobile sports betting is coming to New York State. So, just looking over it and glancing real quick, Russ, you're the gambling guy here, so I want to get your opinion on things. New York State is going to allow mobile bets on the following types of bets. So, point spreads and money lines. Quarters, periods, halves, finals. You can bet anything you want on that.
I can bet on my wife's period? Damn.
You can bet. Oh, Jesus. You can bet on futures. You can bet prop bets on game and player props. You can do teasers and parlays. What New York State is not allowing is any in-state college teams cannot be bet on, and individual performance prop betting on college sports is not allowed as well. For example, You cannot bet on any individual college player in or out of state to score a triple-double on a certain night of the week.
I'd never seen a website that let you do that to begin with. So,
But you can bet on a player from an out-of-state college to win the Heisman.
that's always been a prop, though, that you could bet
Okay.
on future prop. I've never seen any site let you bet on individual player props for college, at least. Maybe in championship games.
Okay.
But in the Rose Bowl, Cotton Bowl type deals. But
Yeah.
I've never seen it before. Nor I think part of it too is college games. Some players can put up insane numbers. That's probably too hard to really judge.
Okay.
But yeah, they never allowed that shit anyway. So.
All right. And
But
then
in-state college teams. So you tell me I couldn't bet like on a Syracuse game.
you can't bet on a Syracuse game. You can't bet on like a St. John's game. No, you can't bet on any in-state college game whatsoever. Not going to happen.
Go with, no, not a toy.
Hey, New York State is also imposing
Not
a
a toy.
51%
Not a toy.
tax rate
Not much.
on operators' gross gambling revenue. This is the highest in the country. 51% of whatever a operator makes is going to go, not even what they make, what they take in is going to go to, Uncle Sam.
That's
a hefty.
that's crazy.
That's hefty.
Why would we want to work in New York? It's just
You go to Connecticut or New Jersey, the tax rate is like 11 and 13%. Now New York is going to do 51. Why wouldn't I just drive 20 minutes to the Connecticut border from where I am and go place my bet there?
I don't know where it is anymore.
And also taxes on your winnings are going to be based on income levels. The federal tax rate you can't avoid. It's going to be 24% no matter where you are. But the New York State rate is going to be anywhere from 4% to 10.9%, depending on your winnings and income level. Which, 10%. 10% of your winnings.
here's my
go
question
away.
too. Is it getting taxed too on what you win or what you withdraw? Because if you get taxed on what you win, that's extremely dangerous.
Yeah, because if the next day you bet on something and get cleaned out, now what?
It's got to be what you withdraw. It has to be.
Or maybe it's like when you, at the end of the year, they're going to issue you one of those tax forms and it's going to, okay, at the end of the year, you were positive X, pay tax on that. And it'll factor in what you,
it's going to be
what you won
withdraw.
and what you lost.
There's no way they're going to do it with your winnings. It's what you withdraw. Because obviously people are going to play with their winnings, and like I said, let's say you win $300 and you turn around, put it on 4 games, and all of a sudden you lose it. You're done.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, I don't know if you're into NFTs.
I'm not.
Non-fungible tokens. So there's a game-changing project that just went live. It's called Crypto Hold'em NFTs. And poker pro Maria Ho is an ambassador. She teamed up with some great guys and at cryptohold'emnft.com. She teamed up with them, and those guys all teamed up with Crypto Dads and Chiba Dinos. And they're at their table. They're interested in bringing NFTs to the poker world. It's a new thing that's going on. They are going to launch on January 22nd. If you're interested in more info, it's www.cryptohold'emnft.com. They have a Discord as well. You can get all the information on their site. I'll post links on the podcast Twitter page and my personal page when the podcast is over. I just joined the Discord. And hey, Russ, I know you're not a poker guy, but please tell me you know who Maria Ho is.
I do now.
Okay. Well, we're in discussions with Maria to get her on the podcast. We're on discussions with the guys from cryptohold'emnft.com to get their guys on the podcast as well in season 2. So we can discuss the project as a whole, which is going to launch January 22nd. And if we can get Maria on the show, she was on at Phil Hellmuth World in Vegas and everything else. So we're in discussions. Hopefully season 2, we can have all of them come on and discuss this even further. But just to wrap up tonight, getting into stocks real quick. Tomorrow is the last trading day of the year. We all know what stocks and CEOs have been the biggest scams and scam artists of the past year. I'm not even going to get into it, Russ. We know all about it. But I want to talk about what's going to be the biggest stock for 2022. And that's going to be TGGI, something you and I are both heavily invested in. You know, Twitter trolls, and I'm going to name two of them, Timothy Sykes and George Sharp, two Twitter trolls, have poo-pooed TGGI lately, calling it a scam and everything else. You know what? They're not coming on the show, and that's fine. But they're completely wrong about TGGI. You watch. TGGI is going to be the stock of 2022. You wait and see, guys, because when it is, I'm going to stand up on this damn table and scream at the top of my lungs that TGGI went to $1 or more in 2022. I'm going to call both of you clowns out when that happens. All right, my rant is over, Russ.
I hope I won't be there. I can't control him. Yeah, he's had too much alcohol.
Yeah, the mules are running.
Sometimes I think also, he got kicked by a mule.
Just real quick, Russ, we had some discussions today with the guys over at Benzinga Live.
What's this we shit?
Well, I did. We as the podcast did. We had some discussions with the guys over at Benzinga Live, and Spencer Israel is in talks to come on the show. He's the one of the head guys over there, over at Benzinga, hosts Benzinga Live Monday through Friday on their YouTube channel. And I'm in talks to go on their show again and have him come on our show to talk about stocks, sports, and, all that good stuff. He's a local guy. He's from New Jersey, so it's not that
sounds like a wonderful show that can have the evening off.
No. No.
I told you I got to renegotiate my contract.
We are going to renegotiate that, and you're in for a hefty raise. I'll give you that. This is going to wrap up episode number 30. This was season number 1 of the E.A.T podcast. We are going to come back with season number 2. We are going to debut season number 2 just before the NFL playoffs start. So roughly around January 12th, 13th, or 14th, right around there is when we'll debut season 2. We'll do an NFL preview show. Like I said, I'm going to try and get those NFT guys to come on, or Spencer, for our debut episode, if not for the week after. And we'll be off and running with season 2 at that point. Russ, we got that the March interview also that we have set up as well. Let's plug that real quick with Jordan.
Jordan Syatt.
Yep.
Guy I've been following for a while. Trying to get on my own little weight loss kick. So
yeah, if you see the podcast or myself or Russ tweeting out some eat right, eat better, live better, all that stuff, we're gonna try and lose some weight getting into the new year like everybody else. I don't mind dropping 20 pounds if I can. I would like to. Russ, you're going to do you. I'm going to do me. We'll see what we can do.
20, 100, same shit. I mean, I think it's no surprise to anybody here watching the podcast that, I'm fat. It happens.
You're going to lead me into having one of those laugh breaks.
What was it? Was it fucking Family Guy? Was it Lois? This may come as a shock to you, but I'm fat. Now let that sink in.
All right, buddy. This is going to wrap up season number 1, episode number 30. We'll see you guys in a few weeks after we take a little break, and we'll be back with season number 2, like I said, roughly January 12th, 13th, or 14th-ish. Stay tuned to the E.A.T podcast on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Jerry with the mic, and at WrestleMania61 is his Twitter. You can find all of our thoughts, favorite sayings, and everything else associated with us in the podcast at those 3 spots. Everybody have a good night from New York, and we'll see you next year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Live fast, eat ass.